The massive crystal halls of the galactic dominion stretched endlessly above, their walls pulsing with alien light. 3 enormous thrones dominated the center chamber, each one designed for a different species that ruled the galaxy. The reptilian. Varric sat on a throne of black metal, their yellow eyes cold and calculating. Beside them, the Nethic floated in their energy cage, their crystalline bodies shifting between blue and purple. The third throne held the Quiller. Beings of pure energy contained within golden armor, these 3 species had ruled the galaxy for over 2,000 years. They divided star systems between themselves like pieces of food on a plate. Every other species in the galaxy served them or stayed hidden in fear. Today, they were discussing a small planet called Earth and its strange inhabitants called humans. Commander Hyun Woo stood perfectly still aboard the Earthship Harmony, watching the transmission from the Galactic Council through hidden cameras. His people had placed years ago. His dark uniform bore no fancy decorations, no symbols of rank that aliens might recognize. The ship around him looked simple and basic, its walls made of regular metal instead of the advanced materials Earth actually used. For 50 years, humanity had been sending messages to the Galactic Council. They asked for meetings, offered trade agreements, and requested equal treatment among the galaxy's civilizations. Every message was either ignored or answered with short, rude responses. The aliens treated human ambassadors like children showing adults their drawings. "Look at this newest request," hissed Overlord Krextai of the Varix Empire, his forked tongue flicking out to taste the air. He held up a data crystal containing Earth's latest diplomatic message. "These humans want to join our trade networks. They think their primitive planet deserves the same treatment as our great empires." The Nethic being called Shard Mind Blue spoke in a voice like breaking glass. "Their technology is laughable. Metal ships that barely reach other planets in their own system. They use chemical rockets like ancient species did millions of years ago. Why do they keep bothering us?" Quiller Prime's golden armor flickered as energy danced within it. "Perhaps we should classify them properly. I suggest Class D primitive species. That will make our position clear." On his ship, Hyun-Woo clenched his fists but kept his face calm. He had served in Earth's real military. For 20 years, trained with weapons and ships that could destroy entire fleets. But his orders were clear: watch, learn, and never reveal humanity's true strength. Not yet. Dr. So Young worked quietly in her laboratory on Luna Base, hidden on the dark side of Earth's moon. Banks of computers surrounded her, analyzing intercepted alien communications from across the galaxy. Her team had spent decades studying every alien language, every military formation, every weakness in their technology. The aliens had no idea that humans could understand everything they said. "Hyun-Woo," she called through their secure communication system, "I'm picking up new chatter from the Council. They're discussing something called the relocation protocol." Hyun-Woo's blood went cold. "What kind of relocation?" "That kind where they move species to different planets against their will. They're saying Earth has too many valuable resources to leave in primitive hands. They want to move all humans to 3 small worlds at the edge of the galaxy." The communication channel stayed quiet for several moments. Then Hyun-Woo spoke in a voice like ice. "Are you certain?" "Completely. They're treating it like a simple administrative task. Moving farm animals to new pastures." So Young's voice carried barely controlled anger. "They're planning to strip mine Earth for its metals and rare elements?" In the council chambers, the 3 alien leaders continued their discussion as if they were planning a vacation instead of destroying human civilization. They laughed at reports of Earth's military capabilities, calling human weapons metal sticks that throw small rocks. Their intelligence reports described human spacecraft as barely functional scrap held together with hope. Admiral Jin-ho sat in the command center buried deep under the mountains of South Korea. The room looked like something from an old movie, with simple screens and basic controls. But hidden behind the false walls lay the true command center for Earth's military, filled with technology that would make the alien empires weep with envy. "Sir," called Lieutenant Min Seo from her station, "we're receiving Hyun-Woo's latest report. The aliens are moving forward with forced relocation." Jin-ho had gray hair and tired eyes, but his voice carried the authority of a man who had prepared for this day his entire career. "How long do we have?" "Unknown, sir. But based on their past actions, they don't waste time once they make a decision." In a hall stood and walked to the large screen that showed a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked alien military bases, blue dots showed human settlements, and green dots indicated Earth's hidden assets. There were far more green dots than any alien intelligence service suspected. 50 years, he said quietly. 50 years we've played the role of primitive children, hoping they would eventually see us as equals. 50 years of hiding our real Ships are real weapons, are real capabilities. Captain Dae-yoon, Jin-ho's second-in-command, joined him at the screen. The Deep Space Monitoring Network is reporting unusual activity. Large alien ships moving toward our sector of space. How many ships? Preliminary count suggests a full relocation fleet. 12 dreadnoughts, support vessels, and transport ships designed to carry entire populations. Jin-ho felt a familiar weight settle on his shoulders. For half a century, Earth's greatest minds had worked in secret, developing technologies that went far beyond anything the galaxy had seen. They studied alien psychology, learned their tactics, and prepared for the day when diplomacy would fail. That day had finally arrived. "Contact the Earth Defense Council," Jin-ho ordered. Full emergency. Session, authorization level black. Throughout the solar system, hidden bases began receiving coded signals. On Mars, beneath the fake mining colonies, massive weapon platforms started their power-up sequences. In the asteroid belt, ships that looked like space rocks began running. System checks. On the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, facilities that aliens believed were failed human colonies prepared to reveal their true purpose. Dr. Yoongi monitored everything from her station on Luna Base. The aliens had no idea that their primitive neighbors had been watching them for decades, learning everything about their technology, their culture, and their weaknesses. Every diplomatic mission to alien worlds had included hidden scientists and engineers, who studied their hosts while pretending to be impressed by alien achievements. The truth was simple and terrifying. Humanity had surpassed every alien civilization in the galaxy. They had chosen to hide this fact, hoping that patience and diplomacy would earn them respect and peace. Instead, the aliens had interpreted human restraint as weakness. They were about to learn the difference between the two. As alien ships moved toward Earth's solar system, Admiral Jin-ho made the hardest decision of his life. After 50 years of silence, it was time for Earth to speak with its true voice. The Varix relocation fleet dropped out of faster than light, travel at the edge of Earth's solar system like predators arriving at a feeding ground. 12 massive dreadnoughts led the formation, each one larger than any human city. Behind them came dozens of support ships and huge transport vessels designed to carry millions of people away from their homeworld. Emperor Krextai commanded the fleet from his flagship Death's Claw, a ship that had conquered over 40 star systems. He lounged in his command chair, yellow eyes gleaming with satisfaction. This would be the easiest victory of his long military career. The humans had no real weapons, no proper space navy, and no way to resist the might of the Varix Empire. "Open a communication channel to all human settlements," Krextai ordered his communications officer. "Let them hear the voice of their new master." The message went out across every frequency humans used for communication. Radio waves, primitive data, streams, even their basic internet networks carried Krextai-S words to every person on Earth and its small colonies. "Humans of the primitive world called Earth," the Emperor's voice hissed across space. "I am Krextai, Emperor of the Varix, rightful ruler of this sector of space. Your leaders have been informed that your species will be relocated to more suitable worlds. You have 72 hours to begin voluntary evacuation. Transport ships will arrive at your major population centers to begin the process." On Earth, billions of people watched their screens in shock and fear. News reporters struggled to understand what was happening. Government leaders held emergency meetings, their faces pale with worry. Most humans had no idea that their species possessed any ability to resist such overwhelming force, but in hidden bunkers and secret facilities around the world, Earth's real leaders watched with different emotions. Admiral Jin-ho observed from his command center as alien ships spread out through the solar system in exactly the formation Earth's military computers had predicted they would use. Captain Min-ho received his orders while sitting in the command chair of the Earth vessel Taeguk. To alien sensors, his ship looked like a primitive metal tube held together with basic technology. Its engines appeared to struggle with simple movements. Its hull showed the rough construction that aliens expected from a species barely capable of leaving their home planet. "Remember," Min-ho told his crew over their secure internal communications, "maintain the illusion at all costs. Let them think we're exactly what they expect us to be." Lieutenant G1, his weapons officer, nodded from her station. The controls around her looked simple and outdated, but hidden beneath the fake panels lay targeting systems that could track a grain of sand from across the solar system. "Weapons are powered down to minimum levels, sir. We're broadcasting energy signatures consistent with primitive chemical rockets." The Taeguk slowly approached the alien fleet, sending out desperate radio messages that pleaded for more time. Min-ho made his voice sound frightened and confused as he transmitted to the alien ships. "Great Varix fleet, this is Captain Min-ho of the Earthship Taeguk. Please, we need more time to evacuate our people. 72 hours is not enough. We have billions of people to move. In the command center of Death's Claw, Varric's officers laughed at the pathetic human transmission. Look at their ship struggle to maintain course, chuckled Commander Varthak. Their engines can barely keep them in a straight line. Perhaps we should put them out of their misery quickly, suggested another officer. Their suffering is painful to watch. Emperor Krextai waved a clawed hand dismissively. Let them beg, it amuses me. Soon enough they will learn what happens to species that waste our valuable time. Dr. Yoongji monitored every alien communication. From her hidden station on Luna Base, the massive facility had been disguised as a simple research outpost for decades, but its true purpose was far more important. Banks of quantum computers analyzed alien fleet movements, predicted their tactics, and calculated the perfect moment to spring Earth's trap. The fleet is positioning exactly where our simulations predicted, she reported to Admiral Jinho. Formation Delta 7, just like they used at the conquest of Theta Centauri. Confirmed, replied Jinho. All units report readiness status. Across the solar system, hundreds of hidden installations began their final preparations. On Mars, what appeared to be failed mining operations started charging their real purpose, weapons platforms, that had been built inside artificial mountains. In the asteroid belt, rocks that had seemed perfectly natural for 50 years began, running diagnostic checks on systems that could reshape the battlefield in seconds, Lieutenant Commander. Dayan coordinated the response from a facility buried deep under the Pacific Ocean. Her screen showed the positions of every human asset in the solar system, most of which the aliens had no idea existed. Perimeter stations report full readiness, she announced. Stealth fleet is in position. Defense grid is charged and standing by. The alien fleet continued its approach to Earth, completely confident in their superiority. Their sensors detected exactly what they expected to see, a primitive solar system with basic technology and no significant military capabilities. The few human ships they could detect moved awkwardly through space like children learning to walk. Admiral Varkesh, second in command of the Varric's fleet, studied the tactical displays with growing impatience. This is hardly worthy of our attention, Emperor. Perhaps we should simply destroy their planet and take the resources directly. It would save time. Patience, Krextai replied. The Galactic Council wants the humans relocated, not destroyed. We follow orders even when dealing with such pathetic creatures. What the aliens could not see was the massive network of hidden sensors that tracked their every movement. Human observers noted which ships carried what weapons, how their shields operated, and where their command centers were located. For 50 years, Earth's military had studied alien technology through careful espionage and hidden observation. Major Tehayan prepared his weapon systems from a station that appeared to be an abandoned satellite. The platform had been floating in space for 30 years, designed to look like a piece of space junk that humans had lost control of. In reality, it was one of hundreds of hidden defensive positions surrounding Earth. All defensive platforms. Report ready status, he announced on the secure channel. The aliens are moving into optimal engagement range. As the deadline approached, the Varric's fleet moved closer to Earth. Emperor Krextai grew tired of human pleading and began preparing for the next phase of the operation. He had conquered dozens of worlds and relocated countless species. This would be no different from any other day at the office. Attention human vessels, he broadcast. Your time for voluntary cooperation has ended. You will now comply with relocation orders or face appropriate corrective measures. The last human diplomatic message came from Captain Minho, his voice shaking with apparent fear. Please, Great Emperor, we need just a little more time. Our people are scared and confused. Surely beings as powerful as yourselves can show mercy to those weaker than you. Krextai's laugh echoed through his ship's bridge. Weakness disgusts me. Power weapons and prepare for corrective bombardment. Show these humans what happens when they waste our time. As Varric's weapons began charging for attack, Admiral Jinho spoke quietly into his communication system. All stations, this is command. Actual, execute Operation Silent Thunder. Show them what Earth really is. The moment humanity had prepared for during 50 years of patient waiting had finally arrived. The moment Emperor Krextai gave the order to fire on Earth cities, everything changed. Admiral Jinho's voice cut through space on frequencies the aliens had never heard before, carrying a single word that transformed the entire solar system: thunder. Across space, hundreds of objects that had seemed like harmless space junk for decades suddenly came alive. Old satellites that aliens thought were broken began glowing with deadly energy. Abandoned space stations that looked empty and forgotten opened. Weapon ports that had been hidden for 50 years. Asteroids that had floated peacefully in the belt suddenly moved with purpose, revealing massive engines and weapon systems. Major Taehyun watched his targeting display light up with alien ships as his hidden platform powered up weapons that should not have existed. Target acquired on flagship Deathclaw, all weapon systems online. The sole defense grid activated like a sleeping giant opening its eyes. Beams of pure energy lanced out from positions throughout the solar system, striking Varric ships with impossible accuracy. The alien shields, designed to stop conventional weapons, simply vanished as human quantum beams passed through them like they were made of paper. Emperor Krextai stared in shock as his flagship shields failed completely. Warning alarms screamed. Throughout the bridge, systems that had never failed before suddenly went offline. What is happening? Where are these weapons coming from? His tactical officer, Varthek, frantically worked at his controls. Sir, I'm detecting energy signatures I've never seen before. These weapons are using some kind of quantum manipulation technology. Our shields cannot stop them. Impossible. Krextai roared. Humans don't have that kind of technology. They barely know how to build metal ships. On the bridge of the Taeguk, Captain Minho allowed himself a cold smile as his ship shed its disguise like a snake shedding old skin. The primitive metal hull shifted and changed, revealing the sleek, deadly vessel that lay underneath. Advanced armor materialized from what had seemed like empty space. Weapon ports opened along the hull, showing energy cannons that glowed with barely contained power. Drop the act, Minho told his crew. Let them see what we really are. Lieutenant. G1's fingers danced over controls that now showed their true complexity. Weapons hot, Captain. Quantum torpedoes loaded and ready. Targeting the nearest dreadnought. The Taeguk moved like a completely different ship, its engines producing thrust that defied alien understanding of physics. It accelerated past the speed that should have been possible, turning and spinning with grace that made alien pilots weep with envy throughout the Varric's fleet. Confusion turned to panic as more human ships revealed themselves. Vessels that had seemed barely functional transformed into deadly predators. Ships that appeared to struggle with basic navigation suddenly moved with precision that made alien computers look like broken toys. Dr. Yunji coordinated the attack. From Luna Base, watching as 50 years of careful planning paid off in spectacular fashion. Phase 1 complete. All defensive platforms online and engaging. Beginning Phase 2 deployment. In the asteroid belt, Colonel Yujin commanded what the aliens had believed were failed mining operations. Now they revealed their true purpose. As massive shipyards that had been building Earth's secret fleet for decades. Hangar doors opened in asteroids, releasing waves of ships that had never appeared on any alien sensor. Strike Wing Alpha, launch when ready, Yujin ordered. Remember, we want prisoners for questioning. Try not to destroy everything. The human strike fighters moved through space like deadly dancers, their adaptive camouflage making them nearly invisible to alien sensors. They struck Varric ships at vulnerable points that Earth's intelligence services had identified through years of careful study. Admiral Varkesh tried desperately to organize his fleet's response, but nothing made sense anymore. How are they moving? So fast? Those ships were barely functional an hour ago. Sir, his weapons officer reported with a shaking voice, our plasma cannons are having no effect. The human ships seem to be absorbing our energy and redirecting it back at us. It was true. Earth's adaptive armor did more than protect human ships. It learned from every attack and became stronger. Alien weapons that struck human vessels only made them more dangerous as the armor absorbed the energy and fed it into the ship's own weapon systems. Captain Dayun led a squadron of stealth frigates that materialized behind the alien formation like ghosts becoming solid. For 30 years, these ships had hidden in the outer solar system, studying alien patrol patterns and waiting for this moment. This is Ghost Leader to all Ghost units, she transmitted. Begin targeting alien command ships. Remember, precision strikes only. We want their leaders alive to tell others what happened here. The stealth frigates opened fire with weapons that bent space itself, creating gravitational distortions that crushed alien ship hulls like empty cans. Varric's dreadnoughts that had conquered entire star systems found themselves helpless against technology they could not understand. Dr. Hay-1 activated the outer perimeter stations, revealing humanity's greatest secret. What aliens had believed were failed human colonies on distant moons suddenly came online as massive defense platforms. These installations had been under construction for 40 years, disguised as desperate attempts by humans to establish outposts in their own solar system. Perimeter defense grid online? Hay-1 reported. All stations reporting full operational status. Beginning long-range interdiction. At the edge of the solar system, alien reinforcement fleets suddenly found their path blocked by defensive stations that should not have existed. Energy barriers sprang up between planets, creating a cage that trapped the Varix fleet inside Earth's territory. Emperor Krextai realized with growing horror that his entire fleet was trapped. Every escape route was blocked by human defensive positions that had appeared from nowhere. His communications officer tried desperately to contact Varix Command, but human jamming technology made it impossible. "Sir," the communications officer reported, "I'm detecting massive energy signatures throughout the system. The humans have ships everywhere. Big ships armed with weapons we've never seen before." On his command screen, Krextai watched as the tactical display filled with red dots representing human vessels. In 1 hour, the primitive species he had come to relocate had revealed themselves as the most advanced military force he had ever encountered. Admiral Jinho opened a channel to the trapped alien fleet, his voice calm and controlled. "Varix fleet? This is Admiral Jinho of the Earth Defense Force. You came here believing we were weak and primitive. You were wrong. Surrender now, and you will be treated according to galactic law. Continue fighting and face the full might of humanity." For the first time in his long military career, Emperor Krextai felt true fear. The humans had hidden their real strength for 50 years, studying their enemies and preparing for this exact moment. Every diplomatic mission, every peaceful overture, every request for equal treatment had been part of a larger plan. The galaxy was about to learn that Earth's greatest strength had never been their weapons or their ships. It was their patience, their planning, and their wisdom to wait for the perfect moment to reveal who they really were. As burning Varix ships drifted through space, that moment had finally arrived. News of the Varix fleet's complete destruction spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. Emergency communication networks carried impossible reports to every alien world, every military base, and every government center in known space. The messages all said the same unbelievable thing: humans had defeated the mighty Varix Empire in less than 6 hours, on the crystal world of Nethek Prime. Shard Mind Blue received the reports with disbelief. The crystalline being's body shifted from blue to angry red as it processed the information. "This cannot be accurate. Our intelligence clearly shows humans possess only primitive technology. They use chemical rockets and metal ships." Similar reactions occurred throughout the 3 galactic empires. Military leaders dismissed the reports as impossible. Scientists claimed the data must be corrupted. Politicians insisted that some unknown alien force must have intervened to help the humans. Emperor Krextai sat in a human detention cell on Luna Base, his pride as broken as his once mighty fleet. During his interrogation, he told Earth's intelligence officers everything he knew about alien military capabilities, trade routes, and hidden bases. The information would prove valuable in the days ahead. "You planned this for decades," Krextai said to Colonel Jamin, his human interrogator. "Every diplomatic meeting, every peaceful request, every time you appeared weak and helpless, it was all part of your strategy?" Jamin nodded calmly. "We studied your species for 50 years. We learned your language, your culture, your military tactics, and most importantly, your psychology. You judge other species by their apparent strength, rather than their actual capabilities." The broken emperor laughed bitterly. "And we never suspected. Your ships look so primitive, your weapons so basic. How could we know you possess technology beyond our understanding?" Fleet Admiral Kyung-Soo stood in the real command center on Titan, watching as alien intelligence networks throughout the galaxy tried to make sense of what had happened. The facility stretched for kilometers underground, filled with technology that made alien science look like children's toys. "Sir," reported Commander Hyojin from her station, "we're intercepting communications from all 3 galactic empires. They're mobilizing their combined fleets for a massive strike against Earth." Kyung-Soo had expected this response. Alien pride would never allow them to accept defeat from a species they considered primitive. "How many ships?" "Over 300 capital ships, sir. Dreadnoughts, battle cruisers, and support vessels from all 3 empires. They're assembling at the Nexus station for a coordinated attack. Time to arrival at our solar system? 72 hours at maximum speed." Kyung-Soo walked to the massive holographic display that showed the galaxy in 3 dimensions. Red dots marked alien fleet positions while blue dots showed human assets. For the first time in galactic history, humanity would speak with one voice. To address the entire galaxy. Ambassador G1 prepared for the most important speech in human history. Earth's leaders had chosen her to deliver humanity's message because of her skill with alien languages and her understanding of galactic politics. She stood before cameras that would broadcast her words to every inhabited world in the galaxy. "People of the galaxy," G1 began, her voice clear and strong. "I am Ambassador G1 of Earth. For 50 years, humanity has sought peaceful relations with all species. We have offered friendship, trade, and cooperation. Instead, we received only dismissal, contempt, and threats. The transmission reached alien worlds where billions of beings watched in stunned silence. Never before had a species challenged the three galactic empires so directly. Today, the Varix Empire came to our home with the intention of forcing our people from the worlds we have lived on for thousands of years. They came expecting to find a weak, primitive species that would submit without resistance. They discovered, instead, that appearances can be deceiving. On alien worlds, military leaders studied the footage of the battle in Earth's solar system. The videos showed human ships moving in ways that defied known physics, using weapons that ignored conventional defenses, and demonstrating technology that surpassed anything in alien databases. We offer the galaxy one final chance for peace. T1 continued. Recognize humanity as an equal member of the galactic community, or face the consequences of your arrogance. We have no desire to conquer or rule others, but we will not allow ourselves to be treated as inferiors any longer. The three galactic empires responded with fury rather than wisdom. Emergency sessions of their ruling councils declared humanity a threat to galactic stability. They demanded that all member species contribute ships and resources to destroy Earth before humans could spread their dangerous ideas of equality to other worlds. At Nexus Station, the largest military gathering in galactic history began to take shape. Quiller energy ships joined Nethic crystal vessels and Varix metal dreadnoughts in a formation designed to overwhelm any possible defense. Admiral Zektar of the Quiller commanded the combined fleet with absolute confidence. 312 capital ships, he announced to his staff, the largest military force ever assembled. No species in galactic history has faced such overwhelming power and survived. Commander Subin received her orders while standing on the bridge of the Earth battleship Soul's Pride. The massive vessel hung in space beyond Pluto, one of dozens of ships that formed humanity's true deep space fleet. For 40 years, these ships had remained hidden in the outer darkness, known only to Earth's highest military leaders. All fleet commanders, this is Admiral Kyung-soo, came the transmission from Titan. The alien armada will arrive in 60 hours. Operation Galactic Storm is authorized. Show them what happens when patience is mistaken for weakness. Subin studied the tactical display showing alien fleet movements. Helm, take us to hyperspace coordinates Alpha 7. Weapons, begin. Charging the quantum cascade generators. Communications, signal the fleet to assume attack formation Omega. The Earth fleet moved through dimensions that aliens had never discovered, traveling faster than light in ways that made alien faster-than-light travel look like crawling. They could appear anywhere in the galaxy within hours, strike with devastating force, and disappear before enemies could respond. Dr. Minjin worked frantically in his laboratory aboard the command ship New Earth, putting the finishing touches on humanity's most devastating weapon. The quantum dimensional torpedo could create a controlled black hole that would consume anything within 1,000 kilometers before safely collapsing. Field tests complete, he reported to Admiral Kyung-soo. The weapon performs exactly as designed. However, I recommend using it only as a last resort. The psychological impact on alien species could be significant. Kyung-soo understood the implications. Humanity's true strength lay not just in their superior technology, but in their restraint. They had the power to destroy entire civilizations, but chose to use only the force necessary to protect themselves. As the alien armada approached Earth's solar system, they expected to face a desperate defense by a primitive species using stolen or borrowed technology. Instead, they would encounter the most advanced military force in galactic history, commanded by leaders who had spent 50 years studying their enemies and preparing for this exact moment. The three galactic empires were about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon had never been their ships or their guns. It was their patience, their wisdom, and their ability to wait for the perfect moment to reveal their true nature. That moment was less than 60 hours away. The combined alien armada arrived at the edge of Earth's solar system like a storm cloud blocking out the stars. 312 ships representing the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy, spread across space in perfect formation. Admiral Zektar commanded from his flagship, confident that no force in the universe could stand against such overwhelming might. Begin the final approach, Zektar ordered his fleet. Today we crush this human rebellion and restore proper order to the galaxy. What the alien fleet found waiting for them changed everything they thought they knew about warfare. Earth's true deep space fleet hung in perfect formation between the gas giant planets. Ships so advanced they seemed to bend reality around themselves. The vessels moved through space like living things, their hulls shifting and changing as adaptive armor responded to different threats. Commander Subin stood on the bridge of Soul's Pride, watching as alien ships tried to understand what they were seeing. All ships report ready status, Admiral. The enemy fleet is moving into our engagement zone. Admiral Kyung-soo's voice carried across the fleet channels with calm authority. Remember our purpose. We fight not for conquest but for recognition. Show them strength but offer mercy to those wise enough to accept it. The battle began when Quiller energy ships fired the first shots, sending beams of pure force toward the human fleet. The alien weapons struck Earth ships and simply vanished, absorbed by armor that turned enemy attacks into fuel for humanity's own weapons. Human vessels that should have been destroyed instead grew brighter and more dangerous. Dr. Wu Jin monitored the battle from his command post on the scientific vessel Discovery. For 50 years he had worked to develop the technologies that now made Earth's fleet nearly invincible. Energy absorption at optimal levels, he reported. The enemy is actually making our ships stronger with each attack. The alien fleet tried every weapon in their arsenal. Nephek crystal ships fired beams that could slice through planets. Varix dreadnoughts launched missiles that could destroy moons. Quiller vessels unleashed energy storms that had conquered entire star systems. Nothing worked against human defenses that seemed to mock the very laws of physics. Captain Siwoo led his squadron through the alien formation like dancers moving through frozen statues. Human ships could phase in and out of normal space, appearing behind enemy vessels and striking before disappearing again. They moved through dimensions that aliens had never discovered, making their attacks impossible to predict or counter. Ghost Squadron to all units, Siwoo transmitted. Enemy command ship identified? Beginning precision strike on bridge systems only. Remember, we want their leaders alive. The human attack was surgical in its precision. Instead of destroying alien ships completely, Earth's forces targeted specific systems that would disable vessels without killing their crews. Weapon ports were sealed shut by quantum manipulation. Engine cores were safely shut down by dimensional interference. Command centers were isolated but left intact. Admiral Zektar watched his mighty fleet being systematically dismantled by an enemy that seemed to control the very fabric of space itself. How is this possible? He demanded of his science officer. These humans were using chemical rockets 50 years ago. Sir, the science officer replied with a shaking voice, I'm detecting technology that our best scientists said was impossible. They're manipulating quantum fields, controlling gravity, and moving through dimensions we didn't know existed. Lieutenant General Yojin commanded the human ground forces that had remained hidden throughout the galaxy for decades. As the space battle raged, she activated sleeper agents on alien worlds who had spent years pretending to be simple human traders and diplomats. All deep cover units, this is command, she transmitted on frequencies that bypassed alien communication. Networks, execute Phase 3, begin liberation of enslaved species. Across the galaxy, human agents revealed themselves and began freeing species that the three empires had conquered and enslaved. Advanced weapons appeared from hidden caches. Transport ships that had seemed like simple cargo vessels transformed into rescue craft. Entire populations that had suffered under alien rule suddenly found themselves protected by humans they had never known existed. The revelation that humanity had been operating throughout the galaxy for decades sent shockwaves through alien governments. Intelligence services that had prided themselves on knowing everything discovered they had known nothing at all about their most dangerous enemy. Chancellor In-sung prepared to address the galaxy from Earth's orbital capital, a massive space city that materialized above the planet as the battle reached its climax. The station had been under construction in parallel dimensions for 30 years, invisible to alien sensors until the moment humanity chose to reveal it. People of the galaxy, In-sung announced as his image appeared on screens throughout known space. Today marks the end of the old order and the beginning of something new. For too long, 3 species have divided the galaxy between themselves like property they owned. That age is over. The alien fleet found itself completely surrounded as more human ships appeared from hidden bases throughout the solar system. Earth's true military might revealed itself in waves, each one more advanced than the last. Ships emerged from the sun itself, protected by technology that let them swim through stellar plasma. Like fish through water. Dr. Hay-1 activated the final surprise from her command post on the moon Europa. Dimensional Gateway Network online, she reported. All galactic monitoring stations report ready status. Across the galaxy, human observation posts that had disguised themselves as natural phenomena for decades suddenly revealed their true purpose. Humanity had been watching every alien world, every military base, and every government center for 50 years. Nothing happened in the galaxy without Earth's knowledge. Admiral Zektar finally understood the scope of his defeat. Surrender, he transmitted to his fleet. All ships stand down immediately. We cannot fight an enemy that has been preparing for this moment longer than we have been alive. The surrender was swift and complete. Alien ships powered down their weapons and submitted to human authority. The three galactic empires that had ruled for thousands of years found themselves prisoners of a species they had dismissed as primitive just days before. In the aftermath of their total victory, humanity surprised the galaxy once again. Instead of enslaving their former oppressors, Earth's leaders offered them a choice: join a new galactic government based on equality and cooperation, or face isolation from the rest of the civilized galaxy. General Yojin oversaw the establishment of the new order, where species were judged by their actions rather than their military strength. The former empires, their fleets destroyed and their pride shattered, desperately sought Earth's protection as other aggressive civilizations began eyeing their weakened territories. Captain Siwu received new orders as he prepared to lead humanity's first official exploration fleet beyond the edges of known space. No longer hiding their capabilities, human ships would explore new regions of the galaxy and make contact with species that had remained hidden during the old empire's reign of terror. His science officer reported as they prepared to depart. Long-range sensors are detecting numerous civilizations beyond the galactic rim. Some appear to be more advanced than the former empires. Siwu smiled as he gave the order to engage their dimensional drive. Then we'll approach them as equals and see if they're wiser than their predecessors, and if they're not, he gestured toward the weapons that could reshape reality itself, they'll learn the same lesson the empires just learned. Earth's greatest strength had never been their hidden technology or their advanced weapons. It was their patience, their wisdom to study their enemies before acting, and their restraint in using only the force necessary to achieve their goals. The galaxy was about to discover what peace looked like when it was enforced by beings who understood the difference between strength and wisdom. The age of human leadership among the stars had finally begun.